traveling along the coast of the peninsula that leads up to Aurora's Rest, you have quite a bit of internal conversation with the team. Some time to yourselves to gather your thoughts, gather your gear, and do quite a bit of gear sorting from the literal treasure haul that was inside of the space pirate ship. The dice odds were very favorable, and they treated you very, very well on that. And you guys have a new problem of too much money and what to do with it.
It's not a problem.
Seamus doesn't see it as a problem. It's a boon.
I'm more concerned with putting all of our eggs into one basket, but...
You mean just all in Seamus's room?
Yeah, or in the bag of holding if we're on the move.
Oh, that's true.
One lucky thief opens it up, be like, hey, what'd I get? Sweet mother of God!
Oh my gosh! Somebody's bank!
It's like, I'm buying an island and never seeing another person again in my life. Automatons will wait on me hand and foot. Okay, oh, sorry. A couple things not going the way I want them to. Okay, cool. So, you have a lot of conversation, and you head towards the port city, the last aerial stop available before the temperature mountains and magical fluctuations become too unstable to support air travel in this part of the world. You fly in up and up and up, eventually seeing kind of the green and kind of brownish black rocky area where the Harpy's Nest was, giving way to fields and meadows, eventually forests leading up into the hills, mountains, thick pine forestry, eventually covered in snow with snow-topped mountains. You crest over and see below you the city of black and gold filigree with these large, flat-ish dome shapes that open up to the sky above to admit airships to land in as ships of all variety. Ships that look semi-organic in nature, look like they were cobbled together from blackened iron and gunpowder. Ones that feel completely ethereal. And you can see the riders in the middle of them. And anything between high technology, high magic, high biomancy, even some things that look like flying steeds. They are all cacophony, gathering at this ship, and the sky is abuzz with the different ships moving all around. Air traffic is very clearly a thing, and you get a call on the helm to start directing your ship in this way or that way to guide yourself in so you don't crash into anything else. All the while, some of you are having better days than others. Margot checked inward and realized her chaotic, endlessly thirsty patron had collected himself into that of a bit of a gangster vibe businessman. Told her about plans to dethrone good old dad, the World Tree. Eventually, the two of them come to a bit of an accord. And Margot walked away a little shaken, nervous, but none the worse for wear. Yaslin, on the other hand, barricading her door, checking inward and meeting this new being that lived inside her, who eventually introduced itself as Cax. QAX. The brood mother and first of her kind of the Morai. Those that would devour and own everything. Yaslin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a message.
Okay. Oh. Where did it all go wrong?
Your eyes pop open as you're staring at your ceiling after having fallen off your bed. You are able to exit your room with very little trouble.
After moving everything, slightly annoying.
Yep.
Like, it was dumb. Okay, great. Yeah, she kind of looks around, takes everything in, looks out the window, kind of getting a sense of where they are. And then she, like, shoves everything out of the way of the door and heads out.
Sounds good. Alright, what is everybody else doing at this moment as you are coming into this rather well-decorated city that stands in bright contrast against the browns and blacks and the kind of purplish whites of the mountain and the blue sky above?
Whatever Tierman needs to dock, wherever she needs help.
Honestly, it's not much. As far as piloting goes, she's not great. As far as landing goes, she's pretty good. She had to take that ship in and out of her secret Mirage lab many a time for testing. And she knows how to dive it into kind of a circle in the ground pretty well. You guys arrive down in to this port called Final Fletch. Takes a few minutes to get the ship settled, secured in, latched down, and for Tierman to kind of handle the paperwork of what needs to be happening inside of the ship itself, and how to register for being docked here. She comes back with like a wad full of papers in her hand and kind of an annoyed look. She's like, 20 gold a day.
You have that covered, no problem, I guess. Right?
Yep, we have the money. But I have some really good parts here. Otherwise, I'm gonna strangle that string bean of a cat that I was just talking to.
That could be fun to watch.
Maybe just wait until we're about ready to leave.
Right. Murder before we make our escape sounds great.
Oh my god, we're such a bad influence.
It's all relative. Drew, are you ready for this? Should we call you something else while we're here?
That is a good question. Sure.
Do you want to pick an alias, or would you like us to come up with something for you?
I'm going to dread this answer, but I will leave it up to you guys.
Ooh, that sounds delightful.
I'm gonna regret this.
Any takers? Margaret it is!
No. That is disturbingly close to my name. That's not okay.
Well, fine. What do you suggest then?
Oh, Alec?
Works for me. Joe's gonna put his hood up. Probably the first time you've ever seen him actually leave it up and try to hide under it. And he will stand in the middle of everybody.
What's the plan here? Do we get tickets or something to head into Aurora's Rest? Is there...
So,
Sure.
this is pretty straightforward, where Tierman will have to leave the ship and take a train into the city. The reason is the airspace there is not well suited for airships. Due to... And he kind of stops. You know what? You'll see when we get there.
Would it make sense for Tierman to just stay with the ship then and let us go in?
Yep. Not leaving my baby again. Last time I did, I saw a green glob that would devour the everything. So I think I'm going to stay home for a little bit this time.
Should we leave you some of our earnings so that you can equip the ship while we're away?
If you'd like, I suppose. Look, we ended up a little closer than I was kind of expecting. I thought this was all going to be just very transactional. Like, I'm going to take you to the thing, I'm going to go off to the Empire, and then I'm going to, make it big in the big cities, sort of deal.
If that's what you wanted, I hope you can go wherever you want. I don't know, guys.
Right,
You're
I
not
don't know
beholden
either.
to
So
us.
that's the questions. You guys obviously need a ship. Do you need this ship? Do you need a captain and a shipsmith? And is this a thing? What do you guys want? You got the goods that you could probably start your own. I mean, the Blushy, she's made for cargo and transport. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, I don't know. I'm talking too much. What do you want? Tell me.
Remind me, out of game. Aurora's Rest has a teleporter to Dent, right?
No, Aurora's Rest has a portal to. Oh,
Guild of
Seamus, help me
Knowledge.
out.
Guild
Yep,
of
the
Knowledge.
Guild of Knowledge. I was
Okay. But it's a one-way,
thinking
right?
Guild of Landing.
It's not two ways, it's just one.
It's
So we can
one
go
way.
into the guild here and go out like a different door somewhere else.
It goes from here to the guild, and then it can come back here.
Okay.
Okay. I
Well,
don't know why I thought it could teleport us to Dent as well.
It's too convenient.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel it might be a little bit before we come back, especially if we follow the plan and head to the Guild of Knowledge from here. And with the price a day docking the ship, it may be quite expensive. But then that leaves us with either finding transportation when we're at the Guild of Knowledge or when we're back here.
That also leaves you to sail across the ocean alone.
Tierman, I think some of this is really up to you. It's your ship. You should decide if you want to stay and wait or if you want to go on ahead to the Empire and start your career in the service to the Empire.
No, honestly, I don't know yet. Might have
Why don't
to,
you hang here then?
think about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm
hang
sticking
here.
around this time, but
We'll head into
Regardless, you
Aurora's.
have repairs.
Yeah. Take care of what you need, and if we come back and your ship is gone, we'll take it as you felt like it was time to head on.
I mean that's fair.
And if we come back and decide that we are going to procure other means of transportation, maybe we could still travel together. But we'll leave it open. It's a two-way door.
Right. Who's hungry?
Jero looks out of habit towards Yaslin.
I look for Yaslin as well.
Yes,
Who's
with
hungry?
them.
Who's hungry? And like all 5 other faces besides Yaslin's all turn to Yaslin.
I think I can use my
Great. Drow. Alec.
Who's that? Alec.
Blah.
You
You've
can
been
pick
here
another
before.
name if you don't like it.
No,
Better
the
than
tongue's just not
Martha.
used to it. You gotta like loosen up the tongue, you know, like bleh, bleh.
If you loosen it up, then you can lick.
Exactly. I hate how well that worked.
I'm starting to hate it as well.
You're the only one that's been here before. What's good to eat?
This statement is true. I was here in kind of a rush, so I didn't really get to tour and find the best food. Just gonna look around and see if there's anything that looks like it sells food.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
$15.
With a 15, yeah, it's easy. I mean, this is a busy place. It'd be silly not to make food. and sell it here, especially because people are about to get on a train ride for a very long time. This is a great spot to find food, especially this is prime real estate sort of location. I mean, this is the spot before you know, the way that people talk about Aurora's Rest is like, this is kind of the spot before the spot. Like the last chance of mostly normal society before you go off into like the destination vacation sort of vibe. And it's a little more remote and everything, but you have a melting pot of great talent, and only the places that are high quality tend to survive in a place like this. Low quality, there's so many better options within 30 feet that they don't last very long. So you look around, there are wonderful smells and sounds, fragrances. The look of the cuisine is quite varied. You see things from just about all over the world. This is a little bit like landing in the place that you would go before Aeon's Disneyland. And so they have people from all over here.
Just look for the most busiest stand or building and point in that direction.
Easy enough.
I think, based off what I see here, I imagine the selection is very wide, and I think it looks at everyone and then kind of looks at Seamus. I think all of us can find something that we would enjoy to eat.
Let's go have a look.
Joe will stick in the middle of the group.
Doesn't take very long. Any style of cuisine, I mean, he kind of points into the busy area, and it's essentially like a food court. If food court was like high-end and gourmet with like actual service and not just like lunch lady style. And there's some good stuff, quite a variety. Is there anything that you guys are particularly looking for in this place that probably has just about everything?
Something warm.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe alcoholic.
Okay.
Like a Imayan hot toddy or Irish coffee.
There you go. Yeah, one of the most popular places is this cafe that you walk in, and it has a very wide circular berth to it. The entire room is round, and there are display cases around the entirety of the room itself. And there's pastries and desserts from all over. Just and like they're kind of like marked by different locations. There's like little flags and stamps in the glass to represent the places that these come from. And on like in the dead center is a very large coffee bar. It's the only thing that breaks up the ring of the circle. And it's kind of this circular coffee bar that comes out maybe 10, 15 feet with about 12 bar stools around it. And then there's plenty of seating out in the center. But they have like bartender level barista service in the middle of this cafe. And they absolutely have a spiked coffee beverages galore, amongst other things.
I know there's not a lot to meet Yazun, but it looks
She's, like,
really good.
looking around, and she's kind of like unimpressed by everything.
There are meat pies.
Oh! Yes, pickings are slim. survive.
Yeah. So, the food, there is a good amount for just about everybody. Seamus, you're a little less acquainted for this particular place, but they do have like a nice blood pudding. That sort of style, like very, very heavy and hearty, sort of like meat dishes with some like organic, or not organic, but some missing a word here. Very earthy style flavored seasonings on the meat.
Anywhere that would have like some exotic meats.
Oh.
Not this spot, but if you guys want to like pop in, grab a couple things, and wander, yes. Okay, so
Seamus, yeah, I think Seamus would be looking for some kind of exotic meat.
Yeah. I think
Ostrich, shark, alligator, sorbo, mole rat, quipper. These are just some of the meats that he enjoys. I want to talk to the chef to make sure I could get it just raw.
yeah, easy to do. Takes it a little bit to get around the corner. There's a lot of people here, and you're having to like kind of like bump shoulders and like slink past if necessary. And you do eventually get to a place that's a little bit less gold and filigree and light and bubbly compared to like everything else. And it's got kind of a more like blackened, sooted sort of gold tarnish and vibe to it. And you open it up, and it actually has like living trees inside of it. And the setting is very dark and low, and you're immediately hit with like moisture. There is actually like little rivers in a pond like in here, and it is a sit-down style restaurant, and it is built on essentially what would be like bayou docks, sort of going into the back. And there are trees, and there are like lily pads like with actual like creatures, and like it's essentially set up to be a swamp in the middle of the mountains as the destination restaurant.
We found the rainforest cafe.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
The what?
the rainforest.
The rainforest cafe. Oh
Looking at it
no!
real quick.
He
Rainforest.
I am
doesn't know
looking
what
at
that
pictures too.
is.
I don't know what that is.
It's a cafe that is made to feel like you're in a rainforest.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, so you can go in, and they have a lot of exotic meats. They also have like vegetables and like other items, but mad pish posh, whatever. But yeah, but you see that in one of the features of this place is like you look down into the water, and maybe about 10 feet down there's like a clear barrier, and below that are monsters like a lobster cage, but this is an exotic monster eatery.
Could I get a cut of the gorilla?
And you get are you looking for like, do you want to like go up and like talk directly to the chef, or there are like servers, but like if you want, there is kind of the central island has a very large, almost like hibachi style grill where they cook things up. And there's also like a back area, but this is where like the show performance of this goes. Like it's a little bit macabre and brutal, but there is like 4 very thick like orcs with like various scars and cuts and whatnot. It's like these guys look like, and it's also like in the menu pamphlet of describing, you know, what brought this place to be. It was a group of adventurers who literally had no other choice than to eat monster to survive on their travels, and eventually figured out how to cook it well and wanted to pass that along. And so it's like you see a bunch of grizzled, old, kind of like whitened orcs in the center, like cooking things up. And so you ask, and one of them turns around and so he takes his cleaver. He's kind of like the butcher portion before it gets to the grill, and he walks up to you and he like holds his cleaver in his hand and like smack, and like instead of like bringing it down or like setting it down, he smacks it into this thick board where it sticks into the ceiling right above his head height, which is about 2 feet taller than yours. He's a pretty tall dude. He leans down. How do you want it? Rare, less than, something more?
Uncooked, if you would.
Chili. Say again.
Uncooked.
Uncooked. Alright. Been a while. You got tough teeth.
Over time.
Over time. Right. Takes a bit to chew. Uncooked. If you don't mind, I'll season it a bit for you.
I'll take some seasoning.
Right. Anybody else? Gargarillion, basilisk, but I have to give you a bit of anti-petrification beforehand. Let me see, what else we got? Nope, ran out of green dragon. Ran out of black. Let me see, what's left?
Deep broth is pretty good if you got it.
Not bad. Got some swamp dog that just came in as well.
Swamp dog?
That's what I said. I got these funny little blue jellies on the back. They like to lure their predators in, make it look like some sort of interesting flower. And they reach out and bite their legs off.
Margot just holds her.
I was
Like
just gonna say,
coffee
Drill's just
closer.
sitting there sipping on his drink.
Right. He turns back around, goes, like, reaches underneath into what is essentially, like, you see him open up a door and, like, it pulls out with, like, a cool air. Just, and you see him reach in only about this far and grab and pulls back out in a Gorillion arm. Oof. And just grabs his cleaver and just oof, oof, oof. Fur or no fur?
No fur, please. Sticks in
Right.
between the teeth.
That it does. Thunk. Just grabs a different sort of like smaller blade and just goes right around the edge and skins the thing. And comes back over, plops it down, and he reaches into like this dude is littered with pouches. He's got like probably 17 different pouches on him. He reaches into one kind of at his like middle right and grabs this like very bright red powder and like puts it on. You see as the meat like slabs down, it doesn't hardly move. It's very rigid. And he puts a powder on. You see all the muscle fibers immediately like, kind of like relax and settle. Right. One large Gorillion steak, uncooked, seasoned, no fur.
I'm gonna have to come back to this place.
Yes, you are.
Seamus just digs in.
Margot looks ill.
It's not for everybody, we understand that. It's a bit of a niche. Especially for silver spoons. The ones that are silver spoons are usually the ones that turn greener than I am.
Just gonna glance over at Yaslin, who has been surprisingly quiet during this whole thing.
I mean, Yaslin had a pie at the bakery that she ate. She mean, like, the basilisk piqued her interest, but she's also maybe I shouldn't consume something that may or may not paralyze me. She looks fascinated, but she refrains.
Alright, maybe something else for you.
Yeah, I guess
Let's
pulling
see.
from my memory, I guess I'll go with something that is obscure and delicious.
Ooh. Alright, looking for something a little bit more out there, eh? And how do you feel? I won't mention lizard folk. You've got one of them in your party, no offense. They're on the menu. They're not your type.
How sick does Margot look? How ill does she appear?
I think she looks just shocked now as she's looking at Dyer, like, what the fuck is happening here?
Guy's like, no offense. Happens all the time. Most of my people are cannibals.
What?
What? It's a thing.
It's not that uncommon, Margot.
Explains the biting.
Alright. Superpard. It's a lion-esque creature. Has scales, red mane, long neck, dragon-like face.
Sure.
A little hard to capture. Can be a little squirrely and hidey, but they're lovely. How much?
How much per pound?
Per pound, it's about 7 gold each.
And how much do you have?
About a full one. Got about about 300 pounds.
She's
just gonna
doing
do
the
some
math.
math real quick. Oh,
7 gold a pound is insane.
While I'm eating, maybe I'll spend it all in one place.
How much was his? Did you even ask Seamus?
As
Some
he's
things you
eating
don't
it
ask
already.
about.
10 steak.
I'll take 10 pounds.
10 pounds.
Yeah.
Kind of like gets up and leans towards you. What's your favorite thing you've ever eaten?
Oh. The list is so long.
First in your mind.
I particularly enjoy certain hybrids.
Just a moment.
70 GP on one meal.
I feel like at this point, Dro and Margot are like looking at each other.
$2 meal.
Oh my god.
Listen,
Okay, he goes. You see him just go working in the back.
can you salt? 5 pounds of it? Just to cure it for later.
You got a bag of holding?
I do, but can that actually preserve meat?
You just see
Well, there's
Dro
no
grab
air
the
in
bag
it.
tight.
Yeah, Aslan gives you a look like, oh, if it can preserve it, it's going in there. Like, don't even think for a second the meat is not going in there. Like, the leftover meat's not going in there.
I hope it can deal with odors.
You'll be fine.
I feel like I could hold it.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it doesn't
there's 10 minutes worth of
specific-
air.
If the bag of holding can preserve it, then she'll bypass needing to essentially prevent it from, or I guess have it to age slower. She'll just skip that whole step. Otherwise, she might not want to eat something that's several weeks old and is going to vastly upset her stomach.
70 gold is insane.
Are you judging my spending habits?
Yes. This is why I did not share with you guys before. I think I was smart in that. 70 gold. For one meal.
Because you haven't spent money on other ridiculous things.
Good.
Food's a necessity.
Right. And he comes back and he kind of like slams it down in front of you. And it's each one is about a medallion like that.
Oh,
And he says, one of the best parts is the tail. Long, lithe, lots of stringy bits to it, but dexterous, not tough. Now, you said you liked eating hybrids. Each of these is seasoned differently. You're gonna get a bit of an experience each time.
oh.
Taste of everything.
Better be careful, I might just eat it all right now.
I told you. Well, at this point, I got 290 pounds left.
You do. I do have a lot to spend.
Yeah, you look like you do.
We'll be back. Yes, and we can come back later. You might find other things you want to spend gold on in the city.
I highly doubt it, but I'll be back.
Come back anytime. The bottom swamp will have you anytime for dinner. Oh, and you're welcome to eat here too. He says it like a cheesy tagline that he's repeated like 6,000 times before.
Alright, perhaps we should teach you some economics.
Dro, can you put 9 pounds of this in your bag?
And each one of them is like wrapped well in like, essentially kind of a high scale butcher paper.
Just open the bag.
Thank you. 9 of the 10 pounds go in, and she takes the other 10 to eat on the other 1 pound to eat on the go.
Dyer comes out with like a big ass spider leg like sticking out of his mouth. Want some?
Are you offering for free?
No, not for you. Anybody else want some? Missing out. Lobster of the land, I say. I love how half the party is incredibly thrilled, and the other half is immaculately disgusted.
If this was real life, I would be vomiting already. Just
Yeah.
watching all.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Well, that was
Apologies, guys. I'm still getting over this damn cough. Alright. So that didn't really work the way that I was planning. When I said anybody hungry, I was thinking we would kind of sit and continue talking instead of standing awkwardly in the middle of like a port. So how about we go find a place to sit for a second then? Tierman's like looking way up at you guys.
yes.
That's good.
All right.
Okay.
Margot looks up at them.
Out of,
Marcus also looking up a little.
Not
Out of-
as far, but
out of curiosity, is there any other people around Tierman's size walking around?
Give me a perception check.
$11.
You see people of all varying heights and sizes. This is probably the most diverse racial location that anybody except, well, Margot's seen a lot because of the nature of the Empire. In Yaslin, this feels a little bit like home, even though your people are all one race.
Yeah.
They look very different. So this feels a little bit normal. For Seamus and Dro, this is a big city hodgepodge vibe. And there are short people, there are gnomes and dwarves, halflings, plenty of goblins too. A lot of goblins seem to be like part of like the crew of like maintenance workers that you can rent out to like work on your ship.
With Dro knowing how people act in a big city, I think I think he would grab Tierman and put her up on his shoulders. Not trusting how crowded it is and how easily she could get separated.
Hey, I didn't ask you to do that.
Yes.
But also I appreciate the fact that I'm not staring into people's butts now. So that's cool.
Joe just keeps his head down.
yeah, I
They're
think we
quiet.
find somewhere to sit and relax for a bit.
Relax.
As much as you can in a city.
So it's pretty easy. There are plenty of patios that are both kind of enclosed a little bit more like a sunroom, but a lot of like the general seating area tends to be like outlooking the mountains or like overlooking the crowded hustle and bustle between all the shops below that lead out of the port. What are you guys feeling? There's also outdoor seating as well.
Nice scenic view.
Yeah, a little patio with a view. We can crowd watch a little bit, but also, a table kind of separated from other groups so that people can't easily maybe listen into our conversation.
Sounds good. You guys get up there. It is a nice view. There are a couple of rooms that can be rented for just personal conversation, almost like, a 3 to 9 or 10 person boardroom sort of style.
Yeah, Margot would absolutely rent one of those.
There it is.
Cool. Costs you,
That's what we spend our money on.
A
Cost of
boardroom.
about- costs you 2 gold for an hour.
Okay.
I think we're gonna be there for an hour. We're going to sit and talk for an hour.
Have you met us?
Wait till we're on the train. Tro says under his breath.
Dearman's not coming on the train with us.
So you guys all get in there. It is lovely. As the door shuts, it's very well soundproofed from a physical standpoint. It shuts off or it closes, and the outside world becomes a bit of a dull muffle.
So, what's the plan?
Well, and Dyer looks nervous. Whatever it is, this is where I leave you all. You may have noticed I've been acting a little aloof more than usual in the last few days, but it's time for me to step away and go pursue spreading the story that will keep Tyus and his ship safe from the world. That's something I can do. That's something I would be very good at. And something I'm even starting to tailor my magics around. I'm sure we'll meet again, but I have enough material to weave tales about the Soldiers of Eon. From standing up to, or rather standing down to impish little pricks who hate them because they're tall, to standing up to giant monstrosities several times over. You all take good care of yourselves and the people around you. You are certainly impressive heroes. Oh, what's more impressive is that you care, that you would risk life and limb for one another. And treasure. I've seen that happen too. There's not a lot that Aeon offers without expecting much in return. But I see that differently with you. You offer each other essentially everything that you have constantly. Anyways, this is me saying that I will be departing. Spreading the word in a place like this should be nice and easy. And it's where I'll start.
Don't lead yourself out of these stories. You are a beacon of hope to all of us at different times throughout our journey.
That I was. Thank you. So if that changes your plans, just wanted to throw that out there first so it could be considered in whatever's moving forward.
Alec, I think this is your lead. You've got to let us know how you want to play it out.
I think for a moment, Zero wouldn't even process that name. He's just looking around still. I know the original goal was to take passage to the Guild of Knowledge, and I still believe that should be the main objective. And honestly, coming here, I was dreading it. But as we grew closer and closer in conversations, and he'll kind of glance at Dyer, this might be an opportunity to tie up a couple things that I wasn't able to do the first time I was home. So if we could spend a day or two, plus there might be someone that might be able to help us with information. He's gonna look at Seamus. There might be people that could help with some questions that we have. So I say we start there. And I hope to wrap up what I can, and then honestly, once I leave here, I don't see myself coming back. So we will go from there. But for now, I'll kind of try to put on his fake smile. Also, I think the city wouldn't be bad for all of us to have a little time to ourselves. Not separated. looks at the females.
Yeah, it's like, well, there goes my R&R, I guess.
Well, but if we want a
Unsupervised-
bathhouse or something.
Okay, at least go in pairs. Looks at Seamus. That might be a bad idea, but
What's the worst that could happen?
You know that like 47% of my stories started with that sentence, right?
And at least 50% of them probably ended a lot better than people expected.
Most of them are tragedies.
Gotta crack a couple eggs to make an omelet.
but
Why do any of us do this at this point? We know we can't argue with her, that we shouldn't argue with her, and yet we do. Are we all insane?
Yes.
leans over to Dyer.
Definition of insanity.
You realize before we were all together, I was traveling with her still. So you were preaching to the choir here.
He puts a hand on your shoulder, looks over at you. You have a stout heart, young man.
Takes a big gulp of his drink.
Freaking Yasmin rolls her eyes like they're being so dramatic.
I don't think a little bit of the city life would harm any of us. You may regret that statement. Please don't make me regret that statement.
We'll follow your lead. You know the city. So whatever you need done, we'll support you in it. True. But every city has its dark corners, and it'd be best to avoid those.
Ro kind of smiles when she says the dark corners. Most people would.
Like I said, we follow your lead.
Just puts his head down. But again. So a few days in the city. And then looks over at Seamus, Guild of Knowledge.
Sounds like a plan.
And he'll just kind of stare into his cup.
Peterman, do you know how long repairs will take anyways? Perhaps we have more or less time than we think.
If I'm doing them by myself, it'll take longer, but it'll be cheaper. I mean, well, with that port fee, maybe not so much. But, I mean, we already did a lot of it. And so not bad. I don't know, less 4 or 5 days, maybe. Get it all tip-top. And I'm also calculating the fact that I am for sure using my haunted ghost money to buy some shinies for the ship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, on that subject, you guys are embridled with a lot of crazy things. Transport makes sense. Y'all need that.
I mean,
What kind of transport you looking for? It's like, while you're gone, if the Blushy as a cargo ship isn't what you want, or if I decide that I want to head off to the Empire, maybe I can put you in touch with somebody, get to know some of the shipsmiths around here.
I think perhaps something smaller, requiring less crew and more agile, potentially more defensive. Offensive would be best. If we're going to war in a couple months.
You're looking for like a small fighter then?
Couldn't hurt to look.
Cool. That's one idea. Anybody else on the matter?
I think
I think
that's
she's got
pretty-
the right idea. I mean, we'll probably need some cargo space,
I think
but
it would.
also, yeah, something with speed. Speed can get you out of a lot of trouble sometimes.
think-
Defenses, I would say, are important as well. I think she nailed the big ones.
A food maker for Yaslin. That's an important piece, I'm guessing.
Dro with his head down, just shaking his head.
How else are we supposed to eat in the air?
This is true. I can't cook for shit.
Any of us?
The Bloody Mary was pretty good.
Once again, that was a food maker, as you remember from chugging from the hose.
That was pretty good.
Oh. We're
Okay.
going to stay in the city for a couple of days. Then the Guild of Knowledge. How long is this train ride?
Morgan, did we ever decide that?
It's about a half day.
Okay.
You're-
a-
Oh,
Going-
Wow, that's quite the train ride.
It's long. You guys are only about halfway up the peninsula. at this point, and the rest of it is very mountainous and goes up and up and up and up and up. And by the time, and so yeah, there's a lot left, but the train is fast.
I will just say it would be smart to stock up on food for right now. Whatever you need to get comfortable.
Okay.
I feel like one of us already did that.
Yeah.
Just looks down at the bag. Yeah, and I pray that smell does not come out of this bag.
If it does come out, maybe it'll attract something else that we can eat.
Or eat us.
Unlikely.
It's a lizard eat lizard world.
You do realize this is ironic, considering when we fought the fire lizard, it almost ate meat.
That is true.
She
What
says
did you
with a smile.
I like this is true.
It's okay. 3 ate my heart, so we've all been meals at some point.
Yeah. But to be fair, last time I was on that train, I was not in the best predicament to judge time. So,
We've already flown for weeks. What's a couple hours on the train?
right. Couple hours.
Can I just roll an insight?
Yeah, I want to insight check that.
Is he right, just a couple hours, or it's nah, he's definitely
Is there
implying
more to the story?
there's a little bit more than a couple of hours on this train.
It's gonna be like Port Authority.
I was like, I'm not even.
Smuggle him through. I don't know shit.
Just because now.
+6.
Oh, no.
my God.
Motherfucker!
He is
Don't
absolutely lying.
You're...
Aslan's been hanging out with him longer. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Aslan just knows that he's full of it right now.
Well, let me rephrase that. Part of that, he was lying.
Just a couple of hours? Really?
I mean, to be fair, the last time I was on this train, I was on there not legally. I could put it. More of a stowaway. So I honestly don't know how long, but I do remember it was very cramped.
It's gonna be so boring.
You know, when you make a return to a city, you probably want to do it in style. Hopefully we can find a private car or something. That sounds like
That's what
something
I was thinking.
Margot would be looking for already.
Maybe less boring.
Private car. Some drinks. Make the time fly. Also, less
Are you
people to
talking?
notice you on a private car.
Or the polar opposite, and everyone's wondering who's in that private car.
Obviously, rich people.
Obviously. They shouldn't deign to look on us if we have our own private car.
Let's see if we can get some tickets.
Just goes back to drinking. By this point, it's empty
Dyer,
and
are
still
you
tries to
joining us?
drink.
Are you joining us to the city or are you staying here, departing from here?
No, I'm gonna stay and fix up the blushing. Yeah. She needs a little bit of a pick me up. Me and my bots will do that while you're all off doing whatever you're doing. And she kind of stands up on her chair which puts her approximately like normal height with the rest of you as you're sitting. Jeez. I don't think I'm gonna be here when you get back. I think I might hire a couple of crew. Make sure my bots know to vaporize them if they try anything funny. And I want to go. The Empire looks at favorable talents from any walk of life and gives it the thumbs up, typically. Or from what I hear. I don't know, Margot, does that check out for what you know too?
Yes, and with your technology, you would be welcomed with open arms, no doubt.
And, yeah, that's what I want. Oh, I never told you guys about my grandpa. It's a family tradition to do everything you possibly can to make your venture become something amazing. To do it all, to be aggressive, to build and make and create and something that nobody else has ever been able to do before. And I'm Tierman the 11th generation of that process. And the end of it is that we pass it on. Everything we achieved goes on to the next generation. All the materials, all the money, all the connections, everything. That's how I made the Blushwing. And as much fun and as terrifying as it sounds to keep traveling with you guys, doesn't let me do that. Doesn't let Tierman the 12th, stand on top of my shoulders as well as if I went to the Empire and tried to spread this technology, made this something bigger. And hopefully my baby doesn't scrap it and set fire to what I've done, but if they do, that's up to them. I mean, that's why I put Grandpa's silk on the ship, because I wanted to carry it along. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Margot, thank you for the letter.
Yes. And when I return, whether with everyone or myself one day, I'll make sure I find you.
Sounds good. I'll make something special for you when you come back. After I'm rolling in the dough with unlimited supplies.
Lady Tierman the 11th. I can see it now. Head of industry.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So, just down to the four of you then.
It was an honor to get to be on your ship, and thank you for letting me take the helm a couple of times. Keep an eye out on your back for Deetra and whoever sent Deetra after you.
Yeah, I will. That's a good call. Yeah, yeah, that little shit probably isn't done yet, so I'll keep an eye out.
Dire, it's here, man. Dro's gonna reach into his bag. It's... Even if it was a short time, it was still eventful, and I don't want to speak for myself. For the rest here, and he kind of smiles at the other three. But at least, hopefully, in their eyes as well as mine, and he'll sit down 2 wooden statues. I consider you still a soldier of Eon as well. And the statue is similar to the one he made with the 4 of us, with an addition of Leo and Nora. But this one has at the top left a reptile head with a top hat and a small female gnome with spiked hair, and below that the 4 of us. And he'll slide them to each of them.
This is totally going on the helm next to all the lights.
Gosh.
Dyer grabs it and looks at it and is like, I'll treasure it, Dro. Alec. Shit.
That's why we bought the private room.
Oh,
Right.
it's because you knew we would all botch the name.
It's for practice.
That's fair.
I think Dro will just go silent.
Come on, Timmy. We've both got the next leg of our own dreams to chase. Yeah, we do. She kind of like spins around in the chair a couple of times before like hopping off and walking out the door. They both give a wave. Dyer flashes a bunch of teeth and a giant grin. Until next time. Tips his hat and closes the door. And for the first time since you were in Ripple Downs, just the 4 of you.
Well, soldiers, are you ready for the next grand adventure?
We have several hours on the train. We should probably catch the next one.
Yeah. And Dro will finish off his drink. Alright. Before,
Lead the way.
does everybody have everything they need? Food.
Do we have anything to sell?
Do we want to
Let me
sell now?
see.
Maybe.
We might be able to find somebody in the city to sell to.
It would probably be best to sell on Aurora's Rest.
Okay.
From the rush time Dro was here, am I able to make it to where the train station is?
Yeah, it's not a difficult process. The entirety of the construction of this place is designed to funnel people towards the train. You get there without incident. It takes a good while just because it's busy and it's big. It's like walking through like a large city's airport, essentially. But you get there with no problem. And all the gold and kind of black and the tents and like the little bit of like the steampunk vibe begin to give way and transfer into something a little more colorful, a little bit more sleek, and obviously of elven design. As you guys come upon a excuse me. As you guys come into the train station, there's a sleek tunnel that kind of like blows warm air over the entrance for this almost colorful elven style bullet train to roll in. It melts away all the snow and sleet and debris that gets on it as it's driving out, and you can see it just kind of like a wash away come as it comes in almost caked in like a little layer of ice, and as it moves forward it transfers from this almost dull sheen to a bright veneer. And I'm gonna send you guys the picture because I don't have it in the scene quite yet. And as it stops, there's kind of a magic sign that appears above it, just like an accentuated version of like a prestidigitation, and it says, "Welcome to the Mirage Train." You guys buy your tickets. It's 5 gold a piece.
Is that for a like private room or private cabin?
That's general admission. Private cabin would be
5
another.
gold a piece is insane. Holy shit.
Welcome to
Daylight
Aurora's
robbery.
Rest.
Can understand why Dro just hitchhiked the first time.
How much was the private cabin?
30.
Total?
It's only 10. Yeah. Or a piece.
Or is it, 30 per person?
It's your regular rate. It's the 5 gold a piece plus 30 on top of it, flat.
Plus
So not
30 on
per
top
person.
of it?
Yeah, so
Yep.
it's 30 between
So it's
all
50
of us
total?
and 5.
Yep.
No. Keep your head down, Joe.
Alec,
Look, you've already messed up the name. Do we
I've
even want
already
to continue
fucked it
with
up.
this farce?
I don't know. It's up to him.
How common, like, would people recognize you by name alone? Uh-oh.
It's a very large city. I think it's best to not announce. I don't see the problem whispering it or between us.
Whispering it so much better.
If they like yell to get your attention, we'll yell Alec.
Or again, I give
Or I
you
could just talk in
permission.
your head. Yep, you're right.
He's gonna stop. Margot, you have a way to communicate without people hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And Seamus, you do as well, if I recall.
that's right. You hear in your head.
Dro reaches up and takes off the earring he's been wearing and hands it to Yaslin. This
What's this?
should let you communicate similar to the way Seamus and Margot does. This
I need to see you to initiate it, so if I can't see you, it does not work.
but you still have a way.
Yes.
This was the last object I was given before I was rushed out. Honestly thought it was kind of dumb till I learned what it did. I don't know if you're familiar with the message spell. Basically, you're able to talk to someone. Looks over at Seamus. Would you show her?
Put it on. Just put it on to begin with.
Okay. Sure, alright. She'll play along.
And then at least for me, I have to cut my hand next to my ear.
You just see Dro. No, you don't.
So maybe not that, but think about talking to somebody else. But don't say anything out loud. And say it in your head. Like this. I say without talking a lot. Also, I'm gonna throw 50 gold at the ticket person as we're standing at the counter.
I guess she like looks at Seamus as like testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me?
You got it.
I will note that there is a limited amount of time you can use it per day.
You couldn't have told me that before. I used it.
I think the most that I used was up to 5 times a day.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
The person at the counter is a warforged with a very long, skinny face and like 3 almost like metallic feathers coming off the back of the head. Thank you very much, sir. And like grabs the coins and like the arm just like chunks into like the arm and like pops back out and the coins are gone. The payment has been received. You are welcome to enter into cabin 6B.
Pleasure doing business.
Yes, it is.
After you, ladies.
Alright.
Okay. You all step onto the train. You are escorted to your particular cabin. Yes, I love that. That is awesome. With a little pomp and circumstance and ceremony and process, the train begins to leave the station. And there's not a chugging mechanism or anything. The train itself begins to buzz and elevates off of the tracks slightly. And there's a flash of energy as the train begins to move forward. And then as soon as it reaches outside of the confines of the buildings at Final Fletch, there's another flash, this time red and green and blue. As the bottom of the train ignites with fire and it begins to eject forward to melt any ice existing on the tracks. It begins to move through and very, very smoothly exits, turns around, kind of does a long loop around the mountain and begins to climb up into the tree line above Final Fletch. And as it does, you can kind of see out the window, there's these little magical, almost like pointed scales that begin to like come up and slightly bow as essentially rudders to keep the train down and in position. They kind of vibrate gently with a kind of a hum, like several different crystal wine glasses being like water rimmed all at the same time as you launch off in the direction of Aurora's Rest.
Oh, does train have a bathroom?
Certainly does, especially a private cabin.
It has a bathroom in here?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Private. All right. Let's go ahead and take a break there. Come back for the train ride. See where we end up. All right. So you guys do find your.
I like your backdrop, Alec.
You guys do.
Oh, I have to do it now.
Yeah, I know, like, I'm floating.
I've got my camera reversed, so it looks opposite.
Oh yeah.
You guys all do get into your interior private cabin, and this place works a little bit like a bag of holding. As you enter in, the entirety of the train is very narrow and straight and long. There are common areas where you can go and eat and socialize, and many people do. But for those that want to be inside of a room, especially a private one, you open it up and it obviously extends beyond what would be the boundaries of the train itself. A little bit of warping, like magic happening, absolutely. Oh, sure. You're probably going to go black again for a second. How about now?
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the four of you have some time to yourselves. A little bit of R&R as you are forced to sit down and chill out for at least a moment. What is on everybody's mind? What are you doing?
Alec, if we were to try to find out about if anybody would recognize you or if we need to clear your name, is there somewhere we should start to investigate to find out that kind of information?
There is somebody we could go talk to. Honestly, he was someone I planned to go talk to begin with. He's actually the one that sent me on the journey that I met you guys on. So he is for sure the person I trust the most in the city. You're aware I was not raised with parents, but I wasn't raising myself. So his name is Randar. I owe him a lot. So I probably owe him a check-in at least. Because if he knows I'm in the city and I don't check in, kind of looks at around. Let's just say you think Yaslin's scary when she's mad. Yeah. He's probably the best
Is that-
person to see, I guess, where my name stands right now.
And will we want to stay with him while we're there? Or should we put up in a hotel somewhere?
It's probably best we find somewhere else to stay. There are quite a selection of inns in the city, all with their own unique flair to them. And obviously looks at Margot. Varying prices. That's probably a better bet.
Well, if we're staying for a few days, we might want to be a little conservative with where we rest.
Yeah. I can ask Randar what he suggests as well. He knows Estidia a lot better than I do, and I know it quite well, so he will probably be our point man for looks over Seamus. A lot of information we're looking for.
Always good to have a contact like that.
Yeah.
Each part on the level.
I would say so. I think, honestly, him, and he will grab the necklace he's wearing, and Freya are the only two in the entire city that I trust him.
You mentioned Freya before, haven't you?
Trying to remember if it was to everybody or if it was to one person. I think I did. Yeah. She was the one that was in the incident with the sword.
See.
I'm hoping. Honestly, I've not had contact with Randar since departing, so there's a place that we can start. But the caveat is if he's not there, it'll be like looking for a needle in a haystack. But he has this weird, what he likes to call skill, I don't even know, ability to show up in the most random spots at the most convenient times, and I swear he knows magic, but he says he doesn't. So, ironically, he's the one that taught me how to fight. Me and Echo. But I'm not really sure he's aware he taught Echo.
Did anyone from your old life know of Echo?
They knew there was something off. The only ones that did visibly see him were the ones that were involved in the attack that night. And I'm imagining Margot has Echo's sword on her.
Mm-hmm.
He would look at that sword. From what I can recall, that is the only moment that people physically saw him. There are times that I feel people thought they saw him. And I mean, to be honest, I don't think any of you saw him until, and looks at Margot. So I'd say it's 90%. No one's ever saw him.
Do you know who was behind the attack?
I have a pretty well general idea on who. Do you remember me talking about the city's all nice, but there is some darker parts of it? Seamus, you're probably familiar with this, being able to hear things you probably shouldn't have as you're within the dark. Bits and pieces that I caught kind of eavesdropping intentionally, and stumbling upon conversations I probably shouldn't have, is a pretty powerful family. They tend to, from what I've heard, deal in shadier stuff within the city, using the cover of the nightlife, the attractions, the parties to do. I don't know all the details, but to me it sounds very, very shady. And I honestly think the attack was an unfortunate time. And I think Freya was just the wrong place at the wrong time.
What's the name of the family?
I don't know individuals' names, but I have heard the mention of the Black Moons.
Would I know anything about that, Morgan?
Give me a history check. Not in this case. We've got lots of word from various places around the world. This is pretty far remote, though. You guys are literally approaching the northernmost city of known civilization on the planet. Maybe, Seamus, you've heard a whisper of them, but no details. Like, it's not the first time you've heard the name.
I don't know much about them. I just know the name is mentioned. The mood in the area seems to shift, or hushes rise, and it's not real complicated to put two and two together that it's dangerous to even mention the name. And I'm guessing, with the fragments of memories that I have of that night and piecing together what I already knew, that those individuals were just underlings. Like I said, I caught her at the wrong place at the wrong time. So that is honestly the biggest worry I have is if they know Echo, well, to them, if who I am, if they know I'm the one that dealt with their employees, and it could be just luck of the draw that they have no clue. I don't know. There is other
Would you rather avoid them or get justice?
Personally, I would prefer justice, but if Freya was standing here, it would probably be a swift smack to the back of the head and something along the lines of just moving forward. I'll just kind of sit there. Randar described 3 people. He had a general idea that Echo was something. He described it, as well as Echo himself, as the side of myself that will do what needs to be done. He is adamant on fighting, kind of glances at Yaslin rather than talking, while I would much rather have a calmer approach for the most part. And Freya was somebody that if you could picture the best parts of a person, that was her. So, kind of grin. Can already hear it. What has been done has been done. And personally, I feel like if I continued to chase down that past, it doesn't honor her. And honestly, her family already has a very vile thought of me, so I don't think that would help the cause. So, to answer your question, I would love to, but I'm not going to. But there is a possibility that there's so much going on in the city, we can go under the radar. As long as we don't create a scene.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's why you all looking at me.
Yeah, it looks like.
I'm sure everything will be fine. Does he get a sense that she still has pretty good control right now?
For who? For yourself?
Yeah.
Whoever's looking at Yaslin, give me an insight check.
I will, because Star would have been looking among everybody. I have no fucking clue.
Gosh, guys.
Rose very preoccupied. He's looking, but he's not looking. Margot. Yasmin, send me a quick roll yourself in a private, just to see how this plays out.
What role am I making? You want to send me a message on what role I'm making? I don't know what role I'm making myself. I just asking if I was doing good. Oh, okay. I think that's how it's done.
Okay. Margot, you look over and there's Laugh and Veneer and Yaslin's not an incredibly thorough person as far as like emotional development goes.
Listen.
It's one way to say it.
And so you see her normal behavior. And there's some small thing that, like, as the laugh kind of like dies down and you turn your gaze away, the corner of your eye catches the corner of her lip turning down just a fraction too soon to not be seen by you. Just a little bit of a scowl, and as you look back, she seems normal.
Yes, I'm sure it will be just fine, she says, staring right at Yaslin.
Oh, jeez. Yaslin kind of like catches it after a second, and she kind of gives like a almost challenging kind of look back.
So we are to avoid this black moon and find your friend? Or he will find us, I suppose?
Pretty much. There is a place we can start. And majority of the time when I was younger, that's why I was able to find him. There may be an issue in regards to who can go in. What we known to do, we'll just wing it.
What are the typical restrictions on entry?
More like credentials.
Okay.
Do you have to be from some fancy family from an empire?
That could work. I don't know how much reach that has all the way out here, though. But we could use my credentials and see what happens.
We can certainly try that. I could also have him meet us somewhere. And he'll kind of like think possibly an inn or a tavern, or in public, so it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. I will note too, I had mentioned the black moons to avoid. It might also be a safe bet to avoid Freya's family as well. At least myself. I don't know how well they were taken to the event, so that's just a shot in the dark. They may be easier to spot within the city than the Black Moons, considering, if I remember correctly, there was a lot of large terms used, but they have their hand in the entertainment of the city. Legal entertainment in the city. So.
It's the best way to do illegal things.
I know you, for obvious reasons, want to avoid them, but would you like one of us to deliver something to them?
No. One of the things I wanted to do while I was here, I wanted to do personally. So I will take care of that. Me or anyone honestly bringing up that night to that family seems that it might open a wound that may have closed. And they are good people. And they don't deserve that grief anymore. But I appreciate the offer. But, like I said, they are a family of entertainment. And Seamus, for the love of God, please don't make me regret this, but there is connections they have within a casino in the city. That
I'm listening.
might also be beneficial to everyone's interest. From what I've seen through the windows and from people walking out, very drunk. They have loose lips, and there is a lot of gold that flows through there. So I had mentioned that we should enjoy the city. That is a suggestion I would make. But again, we cannot make a scene.
Why are you all looking at me again?
And to be fair, that would probably go for all of us.
How long have we been on this train?
Mom, are we there yet?
Are we there
Exactly.
yet? Not to sound impatient or anything. Are we there yet?
As you guys are in the middle of this conversation, into a private room,
What was that?
there's a knock at your door.
Oh, who is that?
Throw? Just hood?
It's been up the whole time.
Yeah, Margot's gonna go
Uh,
glamour her armor into something really nice and fancy. And then go answer the door. Can I help you?
Margot, as you open it up, there's a tall man, especially compared to you. Tall man in dark magical robes with a saber at his hip. The opening of his shirt, despite the cold conditions, is fully exposed. You see the V stretch almost down to his navel. You look up and you see a sharp chin and a scar that comes across his eye and down his cheek at an acute angle, almost like he is almost like it's a crack on a porcelain doll. You recognize patterning on his clothes. You know this man.
Okay, you pull up my backstory.
You're like, wait.
I know this man. I don't know that man.
Oh my gosh, look at that man.
Is that for my backstory?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But he is
I'd like to know that
From-
man.
Yeah, it's like, I'd like to know that man. Let's get to know him better.
Doesn't another man have your heart already?
How many men can you give it away
The
to?
red flags are real heart-shaped.
Mhm.
Wearing those rose-colored glasses, everything's red.
Agent, I require to speak to you now.
Hold up. Who are you?
Margot, give me a history check at advantage.
I'm scared. My history's +1. 20.
Woohoo!
You know exactly who this is. He's known as, and this is a title, not a nickname, the Extractor of Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
She's gonna glance over her shoulder at Seamus, and you just hear in your head, 1 second, I'll just be outside the door. And she's gonna push through the door and shut it behind her. Sir?
Just how much can we eavesdrop on the other side of the door out of curiosity?
It's designed that it's soundproof.
God damn.
Not telepathy proof, hopefully.
What the?
What the fuck?
This is one of the men who resides as a higher ranking functionary in the Otenki.
Hmm.
He's not the master, he's not somebody you interact with much. This is the first time you've been, even physically been this close to him. Your reports have been sporadic. We put it together where you were heading. A little hard to keep up when you're in the middle of nowhere. Like Paishan. Quite nothing now.
Yes. Little hard to get the ink required for reports when I'm often in the middle of nowhere.
True. Which is why we decided to intercept at a larger hub. You see him wave his hand and cast Zone of Truth. You know this is normal.
Uh-huh.
Do you try
And
to
he
resist the
knows.
spell?
He'll know if I resist it.
Yes, he will.
In that moment, she's gonna turn in, like, her mind in for a second and just say to the heart, I need you to help guard me. And she's going to let the zone fall on. She's gonna let it work, but hopefully her tree has a trick up his sleeve or something.
Oh my gosh.
He's about to...
You hear just kind of a chuckle from within. Oh, darling, we're playing a fun game now.
Okay.
Let's see how we do first rodeo. Hey,
I'm at your
so the
disposal,
spell
sir.
falls. You know my function.
I do.
Not only this, but I have layers upon layers of ways to tell if someone is lying.
I'm aware.
Good, then that makes this simple. What is your objective in Aurora's Rest?
There is a conflict brewing. One that I was sent here to look into to begin with, between fire and the other elements. There may be information here. I seek it.
That turns its head. A partial answer. What have you learned about the balance between fire and water? You were instructed to extract power from both.
One of the... can't find anyone else. What was he, a steward? One of the stewards of fire has fallen. Now there is... or water. Stewards of water have fallen. And now there is a great imbalance. Water weakened compared to fire. Fire seeks to push the advantage.
Do you know how?
We don't technically know how they're going to do this yet, other than they might find a graft again. Above board.
Yeah, typing is hard.
Ideas, man.
That's correct. You guys don't know exactly what their intended tactics are.
We know that when I battled them, they were coming through a graph. These stewards of fire had some sort of control over it. In some capacity, perhaps. It was unclear before I managed to close it. Chances are they would try to use a graft again, but we have no means of tracking or predicting unless the Empire has something I do not know of. That is also something we might be able to find here.
Graphs are a bit less complicated than most think they are. With the right tools and research, that is.
This city studies spatial and time magic. Where better to look?
It is a good avenue. We've acquired much in that line of thinking ourselves from the city. And you say you closed one of these graphs that the steward was attempting to utilize.
Yes, I did. By myself.
Impressive, Agent. What are you leaving out?
Nothing of import to the Empire. I found some fools to travel with. Safety in numbers, of course. Blends in better. Complicated though, when people like you pop in. Start asking questions.
If there was one thing that you want your patron to hold back or help you on, what would it be during this conversation?
Bro's connection to water. That he is the champion of water.
Got it. And looks at you. You, Kalishtar. You like to hide it, but you're much more sentimental people than you let on. Tell me about these fools. Why have you chosen them? Why not others?
They are surprisingly powerful. And quite easy to guide on certain paths. Motivation is not hard. Money seems to do the trick for at least one of them. Food pretty heavily for the others. They are not without their intelligence, but they are not tied down as some groups are, not tethered to other organizations. Not in the way I am, at least.
Flexibility and guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Does sound useful. Their names.
Chemas, Yaslan, and Dro.
What information would the organization like the most that you know of?
The organization already knows that I will stand uniquely postured between water and fire when this war comes. Is there information of Paishan you would like? I was there when it blinked off this world.
Describe that.
It was like the ringing of bells, greater than any sound I'd heard. And then it was gone. The ocean rushing in after it.
You're calling it the Gulf of Paishan now.
How poetic.
Indeed. I don't care for poetry.
It is a waste.
Vagaries and flowery words. They get in the way of the truth. They hide behind various means of deception. Which of the locations you've been to? Rephrasing. Which locations have you been to that would be the most prime for absorption by the Empire, and why? Which ones are most defended against the Empire, and why?
What the fuck was that little short people town?
Wibble.
It's the short
Wibble.
people town. It's all she
Wibble.
gives him.
I'm realizing now that she hasn't been many places since she got here. Wibble has a strong industrial base. They are already well established and make fine airships. They are also likely quite capable of defending themselves from the air, which may complicate things. Unless we have a aerial fleet to match.
Of course we do.
The ripples are small mountain towns. I see little value adding them. The industry from Wibble would be significant as a base to build equipment necessary on this side of the ocean.
Postal. Good foothold. But not by air. Do you believe subterfuge or aquatic assault would be better?
I think they are a proud people. Subterfuge with individuals of their likeness would be of greatest benefit and a good deal of investment. There is something about the water that seems poisoned or contaminated. I don't know how that would affect our aquatic forces.
Our intel suggests different.
I am not a scientist. I would not know.
What is the unique capability of the ripples? If we did bring them in, what would they add?
Try to think how I phrase this and keep it. As far as I can tell, they had little value other than education, perhaps with the university, but we have significant wealth of knowledge on our shores. I do not know what could be added from there. I don't see it as a useful first step in our resources on this, at least on this coast.
Fair assessment on the order of priority. But university, you say? We were unaware of any university on the ripples.
With common knowledge.
The College of Water is cloaked
Oh, fuck.
and hidden away.
I thought that was common knowledge.
No, you
Oh,
guys had to
shit.
find like a breadcrumb trail to even
Yeah.
get
I
you
came in
there.
after that. I came in after they
Jaslyn
found
was
it.
so attached to that piece of paper.
Oh, gotcha. That's right. And did I describe like the cloak, like, because you were at the university after the Kirin teleported everybody up to their shrine, right? Did I describe like the veil that kind of like sits above the waterfall, so it's cloaked, and you have to be
I don't
like
remember that at all.
Okay.
I remember like people like swimming down a waterfall, but I don't remember it being like hidden.
Yeah, and they come out of it invisible as part of the portal.
I do remember that part.
Okay, gotcha.
I already said it though.
That's okay. We'll use that as the moment for your patron to help you. He'll cast Gift of Gab on your behalf.
Oh my gosh. He's like, ooh, that's a boo-boo.
And
Nothing other than small villages. Very little trade even. Just farmers or tradesmen.
we hear whispers of potent healing capabilities.
When I was there, I met some healers, yes, but there was also a raging fire. I do not know where all of them could have come from. Could be
Fair
seen
enough.
for miles.
Final question. You see him stare intently into you. You know this man's reputation. He is monstrously cold as an individual. He is both a cleric of the Order domain, and a divinity wizard. He earned his title very solidly. He sits there and reads you for a moment. What do you know of your brother's death?
Whoa.
Shit. Oh god, I don't know how to answer this. I know it was not an accident.
I am a man of my word. There will be no further questions. Waves his hand, his other tooth pops, and he walks down the hallway.
She very composedly turns, walks back in, and as soon as the door shut, she just collapses against the door.
That bad? Who was that?
The Otenki organization.
Why are they here?
Yeah, they just tracked you?
Yes. Seems they did.
Joe's gonna start to adjust the hood, but as he does, he's gonna bump up the headband with the third eye and look at Margot with it.
Roll me insight at advantage.
And remind me, because Joe looked at Margot before with this, and hers was a kaleidoscope of like broken glass, right? The last time Joe looked at her with this,
What was the scene?
on the ship.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
19.
19. Margot's aura comes off as a very, very light purple lavender, almost to the point of white. And it shakes kind of from the top, almost in an hourglass sand pattern. Just shivers and falls into a pile, like beneath her body, just continuously pouring down and settling at the bottom. And for future reference, if you guys would ever like to describe your own aura instead of me making something up, let me know. You are more than
Oh.
welcome to.
Okay.
For a little,
She looks totally freaked.
yeah, for a little transparency, your aura is essentially a colored shape and vibe of your emotional state, and that's what Dro's eye reads.
Okay.
And above board, anybody who it freaks people out. It's not all Boone. Dro's charisma drops if people see it that are not aware of it or comfortable with it.
Hence the headband. I'm glad I wear a headband now.
Headband, hood, full outfit.
I don't know how safe we are.
Pretty sure.
I don't know how he didn't kill me just now.
Before.
I definitely know I'm not. I've looked into my brother's death.
Is that a bad thing?
If they killed him, yes.
Do you think they would come to kill you?
Without a doubt. And I was under zone of truth.
Oh.
So they have your names now, I'm sorry.
Oh!
They don't know where you're from, they don't know about the Water Champion or the university or anything like that. I was able to keep that quiet, but according to what I gave them, you're just a bunch of gullible, strong people that I have managed to convince to travel with me.
Nah. Well, it's a pretty accurate description. Just how strong are these people?
The one that I just saw outside?
Yeah.
Quite capable. If he wanted me dead, I probably would not be back in here.
Do
The
you
biggest
think-
problem with the organization is how many they have. I do not even know. It could be a hidden legion. They could just never stop coming if they decide to hunt us. Hunt me.
Jiro pulls back the headband and opens both of his normal eyes. Margot, how did he know where you were?
Don't know. I didn't tell them we were coming here. I gave very vague reports. I thought just enough to keep them comfortable. I thought it would be.
You gave them reports. How?
I can write to them and it transfers the writing. And they can write back. That's how all reports are given. That's how all communique is in the organization.
Does that go just to them?
That page specifically, yes. I have another one to my mother. It's not uncommon. You could purchase such things in the Empire for long travel. I did not think it could be tracked, though. I've never heard of that. I mean,
This. I take notebook. You can link it to individuals?
to another notebook.
I'll pull the hood down. More over his face. So, obviously, he's here. Did he mention anybody else?
No, but if I don't keep my reports coming or start writing better reports, or if I suddenly try to disappear, I'm sure they won't be long hunting.
So they just want more details. What has
That's not what
stopped
they
you?
want.
What do they want?
They want to know where to launch the next Empire expansion on this coast.
And you're helping them do that?
I'm trying to avoid giving them as much as possible. But if I give them nothing, not only am I at risk, but they could go after my family. They already killed my brother.
Seamus is gonna pull a blood bag out of the bag of holding and just kind of sit back and start sipping on it. kind of relaxed, actually looking.
I don't know any other way to go about this other than to give them the bare minimum of what they want.
And do it. At least do it to stall. And you may know somebody that can help.
I don't know if there's anyone that can help while the organization still stands.
I mean, we gotta try and find out. And right now, the best place. I mean, honestly, he knows where we're going. This train goes one spot.
He has the ability to travel. He's probably not still on this train. He could be anywhere.
That's nice to know. Okay.
Sorry about your brother. I don't
He's
see
the
how
reason I'm here.
this changes much though. People have always wanted to kill me pretty much everywhere I've gone. What's one more group?
But I pretty sure I did warn you that the organization, if they had sent me here to die, would probably be trying to finish the task. Unless I gave them something. As long as I stay useful, I think they'll let me live. But once I run out of usefulness,
Sounds like Aeon, alright. You did what you had to do. That's what we all do. That's what we'll keep doing.
I gave them Wibble.
Wibble?
They
Let them
wanted
shoot that for a while.
a point of entry, and I mean, it'll give them a hell of a run for their money.
This city is the definition of karma's a bitch. Well, it gives us time.
A little bit, yes. And like I said, I managed to keep quiet what you are, Zoro, and the importance of the ripples. They are very interested in it, but I managed, I think, to circumvent that interest. We can't let them know what is in the ripples. But I don't know next time if I'll be able to avoid specific conversation.
Tell them there's a nice spa.
Keep the spa out of your mouth.
Listen, it's a nice spa. Maybe, it might get more business.
Well, that's fair.
I
So
don't
maybe
think
put the
occupied
spot.
horses is the business you're looking for.
You think it'd be something they're interested in?
Yeah, so I think you're picking up on some of the business.
Look, I pick up fast sometimes.
Yeah, how's that wand? Do you still understand it?
No.
Okay.
No. I haven't used it once. Do you want me to try?
No,
No.
not in here, please. I'm gonna take a minute. And she's gonna go in the restroom and take off her jacket real quick and roll up her sleeve. Has the black extended because she gave him power.
Tendon that runs from your middle finger up to mid forearm or just below the elbow is blackened.
Get all put together and go back out.
Wow, that was quick.
It was a good play, girl.
I'm learning.
There may be high hopes for you yet.
Can't wait to get off this goddamn train.
How much longer?
The minute,
Margot's just sitting in the corner, super stressed.
the minute Yaslin says that, Dro just reaches into the bag and throws another piece of meat over to her.
Yeah.
And this one has kind of like a lime chili with a little bit of like a second citrus on top of it that's a little bit like extra fiery. Not spicy, but incredibly zingy.
I'm just listening. As we're sitting there in silence, contemplating our life choices, she's gonna say to the tree and herself again, I don't think you ever told me what to call you.
Oh. Okay, well, I think she takes the food and she looks around and she walks out. Gonna get some air.
Moment.
You're giving me a second. Okay. What happened? Oh, great. Okay. Back this train.
I just asked for his name.
He kind of smiles, and you can see that almost jack-o'-lantern light glowing through his mismatched teeth. You may call me Locke.
Look.
I appreciate the ask, Miss Farad.
Mark.
Mark. We keep playing this right. And it's all ours. We'll get the power to rip them all down, brick by brick, crush them underneath. Nobody else has to suffer against their cruelties again.
I like that.
And when we do, there's more power to drink up in the void. Probably about 2 hours to go on the train. Is anybody doing anything while that's happening?
Yeah, so Yaslin heads out, and she's gonna find somebody who looks like they work on this train. kind of examining all of her surroundings right now, just trying to get some bearing.
Yeah.
And does
Yeah,
she
it's
find
very easy to
someone?
find somebody.
Excuse me.
And you go up and talk to pardon, the individual. They are in a well-pressed, tight-fitted suit coat, or like almost like a bellman's coat that has a kind of a high collar with like bends in it, and as it moves, it's almost iridescent, a little bit like the outside of the train. And it's a medium build human woman, blonde hair, blue eyes, and a stripe pattern of lipstick on her lips. Hello, how can I help you, love?
Where's this train going?
Aurora's Rest, the same place it only ever goes. It's only a one way train north to Aurora's Rest. Well, technically it stops before Aurora's Rest, but it's like just a pit stop and then we keep going. And then on the way back down, it just goes back to Final Fetch.
Right. How much longer do we have till we get there?
About 2 hours. I'd be happy to bring you some refreshments, or we do have entertainers on the train, if that would be helpful.
You know, I think I'm okay.
All right, miss. Well, name's Marla. If you do need anything, just reach back out, and I'd be happy to accommodate.
Of course. Where is the nearest restroom?
Back in your cabin.
Okay, where's the nearest restroom that's not in my cabin?
Oh, certainly. Just down the hall, common room. There's a series of them on the right.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. And she walks to that cabin and locks it. She's absolutely shaking. She is not doing super hot right now, and she's just trying to piece together whatever she can.
Okay. What's your approach there?
The last thing she remembers was being on the ship. She now has a mystery piece of meat that Joe tossed her. And they're on a train to Aurora's Rest. So in between that period of time, she's like, she looked, is there a mirror in this bathroom?
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful,
So she-
filigree, gorgeous.
She looks herself head to toe to see if anything has changed. And if it looks like she might have gotten into any tussle or maybe trouble that she wasn't aware of.
Do you do this? Okay, so give me a perception check, first of all.
Okay. Oh, that was private. It's a 19.
No, it wasn't private.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
yes, it was. Yep. Okay. Okay, so perception. You look at yourself. No physical markings. You don't feel hurt sore, or I mean, beyond what you were already experiencing from the harpy nest fight and being in the ship, or being in the wallbreaker ship?
Okay.
Do you continue looking? Like, are you keeping your clothes on in this process?
I think she doesn't like disrobe completely, but she's definitely like doing like that subtle like pat down, like does anything feel weird?
You start patting around and everything feels normal until you reach the portion of your body where your tail comes out when you rage.
Oh.
It's common that that's one of the areas of your body that has some dragon scales on it.
Yeah.
And are a little bit harder, and that's normal.
Yeah.
But they're small and textured. And instead there's something smooth, and it's one larger thing.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm glad it's covered by my pants. That's all I gotta say. No one's gonna see it. Oh gosh, Yaslin spends a good 10 minutes in this bathroom plus trying to pose herself. And then I think she's absolutely not trying to like go deep back into herself at all, but she kind of like under her breath kind of snarls like, what the fuck did you do?
You hear kind of like this echoing laughter, kind of like I did what was rightfully mine to do with my property. Everything is mine, and I can change it how I like.
He spends an extra 5 minutes in the bathroom.
Oh, Yeslin, Tierman and Dyer are gone.
Oh, yeah!
Also, you remember that part too.
Like, Tierman and Tyre weren't there when she came back? Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You didn't hear either of their like farewell speeches or anything.
That's wonderful. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Kind of takes a moment. Having kind of done her freak out and then double check, triple check. And now she has the weird ring of message that she just has a random piece of jewelry on her ear now. She takes that off, puts it in her pocket. She left her bag, I'm assuming, in that section, which would have her bracelet to send back to her family. So she takes a moment takes a couple of deep breaths, looks at the meat in her hand, and she's like kind of debating. She's like, does she feel hungry?
It is
Bathroom
actual
snack.
mystery meats to her.
Yeah, just like some random mystery. Like,
But would that
But-
stop her?
would that? I mean, it usually wouldn't, but it's also the fact that this weird thing has bought meat that she doesn't know what it is, and it probably doesn't have the best intentions for her, so. Does she feel hungry?
It smells good.
It smells
and
good.
yeah, she's hungry.
You know, I'm in the bathroom. The worst that happens is I throw it up. So, bye. So
All right.
gingerly, she's like, okay, just a taste.
It's unique. It is both like tough and tough in the resistance that the meat gives, but it also has this like almost like beef jerky like pull apart feel to it as you like bring it away.
Oh damn. All right. Well, that's pretty good. She's gonna continue to munch on that, feeling a little bit better about her situation. You know, on the bright side, she got food. Yeah, I think, kind of calmed down, realizing that they're on a train to Aurora's Rest, not really knowing anything else. She unlocks the bathroom and walks back, munching.
Okay, she returns. Anything else for the group as you guys are hanging out for the last little bit?
I think Dro would go to one end of the cart and lay on the couches here. Do a couple things. He would roll up his sleeve and kind of run his finger up and down the scar. For moments. Then I think with him looking back out and seeing the familiar snow, and I'm imagining the lights in the sky as well, I think he would slowly just kind of close his eyes and kind of get one of the, like a power nap, but I think he would go from a scene of in the train to back home in Aurora's Rest, doing something he normally did quite frequently at night, and that would be jumping across the buildings. His way of exploring the city without being noticed when he wasn't going from alley to alley. And I feel he would kind of get this feeling of familiarity. And I think for a moment he would stop on a building and hear a yell. Very confused, and in the distance see some sort of altercation. And he would hear Echo's voice standing next to him. And all he would probably hear is, "Go be the hero you want to be." And Dro would take off. And I think, for time's sake, when he arrives, it's the same scene of his last night in Aurora's Rest. The difference, though, he had mentioned he doesn't remember the fight, physically seen. This time, I think the difference, and I think the one thing that doesn't seem familiar to him, is he sees the fight, but not as himself, but as if he's looking through a window. And he recognizes Echo is in control. And he recalls every slash, every kick, every punch that Echo does that night. And he sees when Echo slashes Freya. And I think at that moment, he would startle himself awake.
Seamus has been watching Dro. And
Sitting about a foot away.
no.
Gosh,
Hanging upside down above him.
No. Subtly watching Dro. I'm kind of pretending like I'm trying to nap over here, but I'm kind of keeping my hand near my ear. And when Dro starts to wake up, I'll say, Dro, I know that you can hear me. I've been keeping an eye on you over there. I think it looks like you're waking up. Can you contact the Water College?
I can try. I tried once, it didn't work. He'll glance down at the scar. I'll try. And he will... Go ahead.
I don't know if Margot can be trusted. And I don't know if Margot knows that she can't be trusted. But I worry about the ripples, and I don't know how to contact them. I think they need to know about the Empire. And if you can send a message to the spa, tell them to plan for a delegation at some point. Because that's the only place in the ripples that a delegation would stay. Tell them to roll out the red carpet if they can. Do anything that they can to make them feel welcomed. I don't know what she told them.
Okay. Dro has no clue how to do this. So, recalling before he became the champion, the one slight hint that he got of something that gave him his abilities that were able to heal. He's gonna pull the sword out and just close his eyes, focusing all his attention on the sword, trying to focus on water and reach out to the Kieran. I don't know if this will make it to you, or if I'm even doing this right. But I want to send a warning to you of the Empire. They might possibly be heading your way, and it might be beneficial to have some sort of conversation, and for some reason Seamus wants it at the spa. Yeah, and it's whatever you have to do to prevent fighting. There is a much bigger threat that you and I are aware of. And he's just gonna stare at the sword, not even sure if that worked.
Give me a religion check. You're trying to contact a world fabricating near deity from about a quarter of the way across the continent. You start to pour yourself into it, and it doesn't feel like enough. Halfway through, you can feel the connection. You can use this connection in battle. You can call upon the power of the Kirin to smite your enemies, cast spells. You lean into that a little bit. It doesn't happen naturally, but you get the idea and you push into it. Go ahead and burn a charge of Channel Divinity as you thrust your connection into the message instead of something offensive or utility-wise. I appreciate the conversation, Dro. From what I've heard, you're getting used to this.
Yeah. To a point. Still very foggy for the most part. The whole time he's talking, he's rubbing the scar.
Foggy is a good word for it.
I mean, this power did not come with a manual, so
It's not supposed to.
it's been helpful for sure. The connection to the water is honestly similar to the connection I have with the shadows now. Almost as if they are the same.
There's a lot of overlap between the two.
That I am learning. I'm also learning that the Ripples now has a target on its back. One that is new. And it's not just fire. It is the Empire. And I am very far away at the moment. So I would warn, be prepared. From what Margot has informed us of the Empire and information I've gathered, they take what they want. Either any way possible. And
We are aware of the Ripples being on the radar. It has been for some time. However, the urgency is new.
yes, one of their people is on the train that we are currently on. Or was, at least. They don't... Margot told us she did not inform them of my newly acquired title. But something about them feels like if she doesn't tell them, they will find out. So I think it is inevitable that there is going to be some sort of conflict, and I'm hoping it doesn't turn violent, at least, so we can focus our attention to the bigger threat. And if there's a way I can help, even from where I'm at, you know me.
We chose well. Myself in offering and you for accepting.
I just hope
Right.
I can fill the title from the previous champion. It sounds like there's some pretty big boots to fill there.
And that's the best part. We don't need Zatkir Mel today. We need Zatdro. Make your own boots. Thank you for the warning. She'll fade out.
Ro will look over at Seamus. It worked. I honestly don't know how, but it worked.
Good man.
I think for a moment too, I think Ro would kind of get a little exhausted from that, since it used up one of his channel divinities and it wasn't something he was aware that it uses. So it kind of, I think he would kind of lay back down.
Mhm.
Seamus, where is Yaslin?
I'm right here. I
Did you have walked back in?
what? I don't know. I spent probably at least 20 minutes in that other bathroom on my little freak out session. Maybe I come right in as you ask that.
In your head, you'll hear, "Speak of the devil."
I guess based off just a quick glance, right, does she seem off?
Roll insight. Yaslin, roll
Okay.
deception for I'm fine.
I'm fine. We're doing really fine. Okay. Well, I'll have to roll on that 20. Nah. She looks probably like she's fucking like just seen a ghost. Like she put you've known her a time. She puts on that like that chill, like cool, can do, confident attitude. She kind of has that on, but it's also very much a Yaslin that is out of her element.
I think Dro will get up and steady himself. And walk over. What's wrong?
I think we all need to sit down for this.
Okay.
As you sit down, the train goes dark on the outside as you enter a long tunnel through a mountain. Still well illuminated, but the outside scene of snow and mountain and trees fades.
How long has it been since we left the ship?
Just kind of look at her. The airship?
Yes. The airship.
Morgan, it would have been quite a few hours now, wouldn't it? From the moment we got off the ship to now.
Yeah. Yaslin and Seamus were sparring probably around like mid-morning or late morning. And you guys are coming up on Aurora's Rest. It's evening now. It's dark out. We're pretty damn close.
Not good.
It's been quite a few hours.
I think I can tell that much. There's no really good way of putting this. Other than I don't know what we've done for the last several hours.
What do you mean? We got off the ship. We went to go get food and drinks. You ate some weird beast. We got a table where Dyer and Tierman left. And then we got on this train. A blast from Margot's past showed up. And long story short, there's another person on the list to be concerned about. And you're telling me you just walked in here. And you're telling me you don't remember any of that. Also, Dro's keeping this low right now. So only Yaslin can hear.
Oh, I thought we were all sitting down together.
Oh no, Yaslin did speak up and tell everyone.
Oh,
She
okay.
doesn't remember Jack Diddley squat. No. I might have done a slight fuck up. And beyond that, yeah, I'm very lost, guys.
What? It's one of your heads in charge. Not the dragon, clearly. You lack that attitude.
I think whatever happened to me on that underwater ship. I have a nice new passenger, and it's not going really great. They are not very nice at all. And I don't have control of them. I thought this was probably important to let you know.
Yeah, I think so. It's turning into quite the day. Another day for us, really, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything weird.
No. Don't blame yourself for this. That ship obviously did a number on the three of you, it seems.
Is there any way we can help?
I mean, I literally don't know what you could do. That I had it under control, and then I had that little spar with Seamus, and I went back to my room, and I did not come back out of my room.
You seemed a little upset when you left. I was a little worried at the time, but I had no idea.
That it wasn't your fault. I don't really know. I think I might have given it control over me somehow.
So, let me get this straight. You were not present. Whatever hitchhiker you have was, and you do not recall any of the actions or conversations we've had up to this point.
No. It feels really similar to when we were fighting the fire lizard, except for there's a lot more that's missing. And yeah.
I mean, from when we were fighting the fire lizard, we know I can go in there if you needed help, but I don't know if that's a good idea.
I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't think that's a good idea. As much as I would like the help, I don't want you stuck where I was stuck.
With the rest of your chimera. Did they not help you in this?
I think I might phone back to my grandfather. Until then, I think I will just do my best to avoid all conflict, which a part of me absolutely detests. But
I think it's always watching.
What?
That the one that took control, or can we have like a code word or something that only you know so that you can say it and we know you're still you? Or will it know?
I don't know. You guys didn't even know it wasn't me, did you?
Dro's head staring at the ground.
You seemed a little off, but you just seemed upset.
Okay. I will do my best to let you guys know if I'm losing it.
And as a backdrop, dichotomously to the tense and heavy atmosphere inside of the train car, the train finally leaves the tunnel. And as it does, the ceiling above you becomes transparent across every train car. So you can look up, and as the sky is now darkened and black, you see curtains above you. Curtains of color and magic and energy, dancing and drifting side by side, crossing, weaving in and out of each other. When the weaves of color kind of run into each other and crash, they spill down like long drifted fireworks of various colors. And the entire sky lights up in a kaleidoscope of painted colors. As you come down the mountain into your final descent, there's a large purplish lake with frost crystallized at the edges of it. Rivulets of water from the mountain come and feed this lake, still as glass at this time of day, reflecting the colors dance off of its surface directly back in the sky. There's a long train track that leads into the heart of the city, and a smaller station near what is probably residential homes on the other side of the lake. You see 4 large, jagged, almost spike-like peaks surrounding the city in a bit of a bowl just nestled in. And the design of the buildings matches many of those peaks. Tall, straight buildings designed to slough off snow quickly. And you get your first glimpse of the vibrant life of the best night city on the planet. Welcome to Aurora's Rest. And that's where we're going to end the episode.